Hello, it's Alex. A year or so ago I did a video about classic car windscreen wipers. It wasn't the best video because it was done on my phone in the portrait position without a stand, so it was quite clumsy. So I've got to do the rubbers on my P4 wiper blades again, and I thought I'd do a little video, maybe a little bit clearer and easier to watch, so you can do it yourself at home. Right then, you're over there, I'm over here. You can't see a lot of me apart from those, and don't look at those because you shouldn't be looking at those, you should be looking at this. Okay, wiper blades. I've already done this one. P4 wiper blades. Now, just going a bit off track here. The P4 wipers have little wheels on because when they park, they go off the screen. So the little wheels run down the bulkhead basically, and the wipers park off of the window. Anyway, that's irrelevant to this video. What I want to explain to you is the wiper blades themselves. I'll start off with getting rid of that one because that's done. Old wiper blade, old rubber. New wiper blade, new rubber. Now, what I do is a bit cheapskate. I think these are 10-inch. Let me get the tape measure. Yeah, so Rover P4 wiper blades are 10 inches. I mean, I was told 10 inches was that big, but I maybe been lied to. Okay, I'll have to have a word with Lyndon on that one. I'm sorry about the fart noises. It's my phone going off. So what I do is I buy an extra big wiper, just a modern windscreen wiper. This is a Trico exact fit. Well, maybe not exact on a P4. I've bought a 26-inch, but really you should only need to buy a 20-inch, but I always buy a bigger one, you know, just in case. In case of what, I don't know. But you get to keep a handy little piece of rubber that you really don't need. Anyway, so I've already done one, so I've snipped the new rubber in half and removed it from the new frame. I always feel a bit wasteful doing this because this is just going to end up in the bin, because I'm not putting black wiper blades on my P4. I want chrome, so I'm reusing the original Tex wipers. This rubber on here is a bit knackered. It's not clearing the screen very well, so I need to remove the old rubber first. So let's get rid of that. The first thing I do with the old rubber is, you'll notice normally one end seems to be the, what's the word? The main grabber. So one end will be the one that's really holding on to that rubber and stopping it from sliding out. So I find that end, and be careful not to stab yourself. Stick a screwdriver in there. Oh God. And just try and prise it away from the rubber. I mean, this rubber's old, so we're not going to be using this rubber, so it doesn't really matter too much if you damage it. So prise that old one out of there. Right, once you've got it out of the main grabbing end, you can then slide it out normally. Ta-da! Whoop. So you're left with your wiper. Now, the original wiper blades that went into this would have had the metal strips sort of bonded or held into the rubber, but these are just loose because these were actually well, the same that I'd cut out a wiper about a year ago. So, I mean, you could keep hold of these bits of metal if you want, make life a bit easier. The rubber's definitely rubbish, but we'll keep that as a template. New wiper, same again. You've got a predominant end that is the grabber. So let's get that one out of there. Try not to damage the rubber because you actually want this piece. Hope you've got enough light here. Loads of light now. Oh dear, try and get comfortable. Have a cup of tea. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so there's your predominant grabber. Again, we can slide that out because we've already snipped this one in half. Doop. So that, unfortunately, a bit wasteful, just goes in the bin. We don't need that. Bye. Could have been like Henry VIII then and just thrown it over my shoulder. Oh dear. So now you've got the rubbers mixed up, you don't know which one's your old one and which one's the new one. I know that's the old one. So as you can see, it is too long. So I'm going to take the metal out, and on this occasion I can bin the metal because I can reuse my old bits of metal. But if you were to trim these, they are really hard to trim. I've tried side cutters, plier cutters, you know, tin snips, all sorts. The only thing I've got here is it's a tool that's actually for cutting cables that my boss gave me. And it actually cuts this really well, but you've got to be careful because it goes flying. You'll end up taking your eye out. Ooh, see? So whatever the hell these are, cable cutters, that cuts the metal from these wipers very well. But as I said, we don't need to cut these because we can just use the old pieces. It's cheating. So there's your old rubber, there's your new one. We need to cut it now to the right size. So let's go for that. That's your new one. That's your old one. Okay. Now, there's lots of different ridges in this. So you need to look, and it is the bottom one that the wire, it's not wire, the metal goes in. See, that's one side. The metal just slots in there. So there's the blade. Oh, that's the blade that touches the screen, and the metal goes furthest away from that in the little groove, and you get a bit on both sides. Oh, my throat's a bit dry. Have some more tea. So both your bit of metal, both of your bits of metal are in there now, and they will want to spring out, so don't let it. Excuse me. Phone's off again. Someone said to me the other day, you don't do your fart noises anymore. Well, there we are. I have. So again, one of these is going to be the predominant pincher. I'll just turn my phone off. There we go. One of these is going to be the predominant pincher. What I would do on this occasion is just pull them apart a little bit, just to make life easier. You'll understand in a minute. Okay, so now you've made the gap just on this one, on the end, you've made that gap bigger. Now I'll show you. So that's going to be quite a big gap there, so don't worry too much about sliding it in there. But you need to slide these bits in the ridge above the piece of metal. So you've got the hole with the piece of metal, and then you've got another gap, and that's where these bits of wiper run in. So thread that one through, and then thread that one through, and then finally this fella here, you can thread that through. That's a nice tight fit. Now you need to go along both sides and just check that the bits of wiper are all in that same groove on both sides. Perfect. Lovely jubbly. You've got a little bit of overhang here and a little bit of overhang here. That's absolutely fine. What I do then is go along and give them all a little pinch just to make sure they'll sit in that runner. Yeah, so you're just giving these a little pinch here just so they hug the rubber. And the most important one is the main grabber. So you want to give this one a good old squeeze, because this one's going to be stopping it from sliding in and out. That's your grabber. And then grab it and have a pull, have a good tug. And that's it, look, that's not coming off. Because if you don't give that one a good grab, you will find you know, when you're in the rain and that and your wipers are going, you'll suddenly see your rubber disappear. And you don't want that. And that's it basically. I mean, I hope that you kind of get the idea from watching that, how you do it. It's important you've got the metal in there for the strength, and it's important that you get the correct ridge that these go into. But yeah, I mean, normally I use Bosch wipers. That was a Trico, but you can use any wiper really. Just don't get those silly, what are they called? Those silly flat blades, you know, the big flappy things that modern cars have. Don't get those. It's got to be the conventional type wiper, you know, like the one I've just butchered. Yeah, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to spend a fortune from some kind of supplier and buying a repro wiper blade, you know, the metal. I mean, these are both stainless steel by Tex, which I presume were on it from new. The only problem I got with this is that chrome's gone pitted at the end, but that doesn't stop it from working. Yeah. I'll put them on tomorrow morning. I ain't going out in the cold now. And to do that job, yeah, all you need is a pair of pliers, a pair of side cutters, and a flathead screwdriver, really. I say I've got the cable cutters to cut the bits of metal. Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. And it's cheap as well. I paid about £8 for that wiper blade. And I've done both my wipers. Well, here I am, like some kind of nutter out in the dark at God knows what time, come to fit these wipers. I thought I'd show them to you. So these are just sort of, I guess you call them spindles. There's splines, that's the word, splines. There's splines in there and there. And there's also this little pullback thing. But I managed to get mine off just by sort of wiggling them. I'll put this one on. I'm not an expert at wipers, I must say. That's it. Now can you see the P4 wiper parks off the screen, and it comes down on its little wheel off the side, and it drops down into this holder here. So when you put them back on, as long as you've left them in park, that's where you need to put the wiper on. So once you put it on, I give it a good old smack down and then that should not come off easily at all, not on its own anyway. Now if we reverse this, and I'll show you how easy it is to get it off. If for any reason you can't get it off doing it the way I'm doing it, you can try putting some WD-40 on there. You can try giving it a tap with something just to sort of shock the splines to move if they're a bit corroded. But I would just put wiper up and then give it a good old wiggle, and it should pop straight off. Let's go and have a look at some other wiper blades. So here on the MG Midget, looks like you've got a big screw, and then they might pull off, possibly. And the MG Midget is not supposed to park off of the screen. I don't know why it is, but it shouldn't be, not on a Midget. Nissan Micra. Nissan Micra looks like that, should just pull off like the P4. I don't fancy trying it now. It's dark, it's late, I can't be bothered. I think some are held on with little nuts. I think my Land Rover looks like this, but underneath there's a little bolt, and you have to slacken the bolt before you can pull it off. It's like a bit of a grub screw really, just holds it down onto that spline. But yeah, I couldn't resist to show you that. It's really cold, look. I'll get this other wiper on and I'll go back in the warm. Thanks for watching. Bye.